What's up, Hillsmere Hornets? My name is Jeff Woodruff. I'm Austin Woodruff's dad from Miss Salam's class. For Career Day this year, I wanted to share with you guys about what I do at a company called RentalWorks. Now, RentalWorks is a company that supplies construction equipment to construction sites. The equipment is things like excavators, boom lifts, forklifts, and they basically borrow the equipment from us and pay us for it. Follow me, we're going to take a look at some of the trucks we use to move the equipment from our yards, like this one here in Annapolis, to all over Maryland, DC, Delaware, even Northern Virginia. Now these trucks over here are big, and they have big trailers for hauling some of our bigger equipment. We also have smaller trailers too for the small equipment, but these are my favorite. Now this truck right here has a trailer that can haul over 40,000 pounds. Now that is some really big equipment. And as you can see, it's a really big truck. You can fit all kinds of stuff up here, including a giant boom lift or a big excavator, and we use these heavy chains to strap them down so they don't go anywhere when we're driving down the highway. Now my job at RentalWorks is not driving the trucks, and it's not necessarily driving the equipment. My job is sales. So what I do is I travel to construction sites and to the offices of the construction workers that work at those job sites to teach them about RentalWorks, and ultimately they will call me to get the equipment that we have so they can use it at their job sites. Now let's go take a look at some equipment. Now when I'm traveling to job sites to meet contractors, safety is extremely important. So at every construction site I go to, I always make sure I have eye protection, a hard hat, a bright vest, that way people operating equipment can see me and don't squish me. And then I also have to make sure I got on my steel toe boots. So if anything falls on my foot, I don't get hurt. So these are a few pieces of equipment that I provide construction workers at their job sites. Who knows what this is called? If you said excavator, you are correct. Excavator is used for digging. This big old bucket can dig up big holes. So when I'm meeting with plumbers and electricians and people that need to bury things underground, these are the kind of equipment that I'm talking to them about. Now you can also use them to pick stuff up. This big thumb can grab things and then you can lift it up with the arm. Now, over here, this is a forklift. Now it's not just any forklift. This forklift is a shooting boom forklift. This one is made for lifting up really heavy things, going way up in the air, and setting them on top of buildings or inside of buildings. Now with my job, I have to know a lot of numbers. I have to know how much equipment weighs. I have to know how much the trucks can haul, how many pieces of equipment can fit on the truck and still be within the right weight range. Also have to know numbers like cost. So this big forklift costs roughly $2,000 a month for a construction worker to rent from us. But there's some math involved because you got to factor in 6% sales tax. So $2,000 plus 6%, you're looking at $2,120. Now, let's hop inside this scissor lift and we can go up and get a closer look at the forks on that forklift. Now, I spend a lot of time driving around in my truck and talking to people at offices and construction sites. But I also have to know what I'm talking about. So I need to be able to operate every single machine you see here in the yard. And I need to be able to do it safely, and I need to know how to teach people how to operate the equipment. So, let's head up and take a closer look at the forks on this forklift. Now, a machine like this is called a scissor lift. And what this is for is if you're inside a building that has a really high ceiling and you need to work up in that ceiling, you would use this scissor lift. You can drive it into the building, you can take it way up in the air, and then you can work up in the ceiling. So now that we're all the way up here, let's take a closer look at these forks. Now, what letter do they look like? If you said the letter L, you are correct. They are heavy, heavy steel forks. This particular forklift can lift over 6,000 pounds. That's a lot of weight. And from up here, if you look all the way in the back of our Annapolis yard, you can see there's a lot of other big boom lifts, excavators, generators, scaffolding, ladders, and if you look over here, you can see other trucks that we use for moving the equipment, more scissor lifts, and that building over there has a shop inside where we fix equipment and an office where people can come in and rent stuff. Now we also have things like bulldozers and skid steers, and track loaders. A lot of them are out on rent. So there's not a whole lot in the yard right now to show you guys. But let's head back down and we can look at one more piece of equipment. Now, my son, Austin, who is 6 years old, actually knows how to drive some of this equipment. I've been teaching him. So next time you see him, ask him about it. I'm sure he'd be happy to tell you. All right. Let me get the door for the camera operator. All right. So this one, the excavator. This is one of my favorite machines. And I brought them home to use them at my house before. Now this machine has a diesel engine. You can see the big rubber tracks. They kind of look like a tank. And those are what you use to drive the equipment. We're not going to worry about driving the forklift, but we're going to walk towards the back so you can see a few more things that I provide construction workers. Now, when you drive past a construction site, some of the equipment that's at the construction site is actually owned by the construction workers. But some of it, or in some cases, a lot of it, are actually owned by companies like our company, Rental Works, and we rent them the equipment to use at their job sites. These are skid steer attachments. Over here, you got more excavators. Right here, you have a big excavator. And then one of my personal favorites, this machine right here on the other side of the fence is what's called a boom lift. this particular boom lift can take you up in that basket 135 feet. That is really high. So if you're afraid of heights, maybe don't pick a job where you would have to take one of those up into the air to do your work. Now, an excavator like this weighs roughly 34,000 pounds. So you would not put an excavator like this on a trailer and pull it with a pickup truck. What you would use to move this is one of the big trucks out there that I showed you earlier. So, Pillsbury Hornets, thank you for letting me share with you about the work I do at Rental Works. Have a great day.